record. Okay, so this is it's recorded so you can go back and take notes. Like I said, I don't have a lot of notes to go back and look at because I lived it and I still live this. And I promise you, if you will just follow these very simple steps, you will be able to pay yourself, work this business full time, have the flexibility, create the life that you want. I am very passionate about this. Marion will tell you that is what that was the gift I gave her when I first met her. I wanted her home with her girls, and she was pregnant with her third child. Trinity will tell you, Trinity didn't even have any children. Trinity was not even married, but I sensed that she wanted this for herself. And here Trinity is now Mary Kay full time, 2 babies. It's a gift. Now I get it. Some of you are not in the season of your life where you want it. It's a need to be home, but to have a business that thrives and that provides an amazing income, that fits into anybody's game plan. This is not just for those that are going to be moms one day. It fits everybody. We could all tell you story after story of, what you come in for is not what you always stay in for. So here was my thing. I wasn't the best seller. I wasn't the best recruiter. I did 3 things. I was consistent. I ate my elephant one bite at a time. I just focused on having one appointment every single week, whether it was one-on-one, an on-the-go, or a party. I fought for that appointment. So I had a victory. I learned how to win something every week. So if I did one new face, that was a victory for me. And I fought for that one appointment every single week. And I was able to leave my full-time job in 6 months. From January 8th was the day I signed my agreement. My first day home was June 1st. Well, less than 6 months. Now, we're going to break down the numbers in just a second, but it was that one appointment. It didn't overwhelm me. It was something that I could do, having a full-time job and 2 babies. It was eating that elephant one little bite at a time. Remember what I always say is there's a fine line between success and failure. The daily decisions that you make are easy to do, but they're also easy not to do. That's that fine line. You get to choose every single day. I did not start with family and friends. I took that to heart. My director was very upfront with me and said in the very beginning, you will not get rich off your family and friends. And I'm thinking, good, because they're already broke and they're already not wanting me to put the product on their face, right? And so I went directly to strangers. Where did I find them? I'm going to just tell you, it wasn't always easy, but I had to work at it. This business, if it was easy, everybody would do it. It's simple. That's the difference between easy. It's not easy, but it's simple. Consistency. I focused really, really hard on making sure that I tracked my customer base to 100. And so I'm going to tell you, how did I meet strangers? I was not someone to go up and give my business card to anybody. That made me throw up. It still makes me throw up. I'm not that person. But reading my beauty consultant guide, I saw that there could be, vendor events where they were lead generating. I could do a table, I could do a facial box, and those were the things that I felt comfortable doing. And that's what I did. I set out and put my facial boxes out. I did my vendor booths, and with those leads, I would make sure that I held one appointment every single week. I am only where I am right now. Not where you are, but where I am, because I've had more no's than you. you are not where I am because you haven't had as many no's and as many rejections as I have. And so number 2, you have to get emotionally stable, and you have to work on you. You have to already know that there are going to be cancellations. There are going to be people that won't help you. There are going to be people that, it's called porched. I got porched at 9 months pregnant, an hour away from my house. It was my last appointment per my doctor before I was going to deliver my 4th child, because he said, look, you are already almost an hour away from the hospital. If you work an hour south, now you're 2 hours away, and this is your 4th baby. You're going to have this baby on the side of the road. So this day, you cannot work anymore. And it was 2 weeks from delivery. It was August. It was 110 degrees. And I carried all my bags upstairs. I'd already confirmed it. I coached the class. I confirmed it. Got to the porch. It was a split level. You guys know those. Got all the way to the top with my bag, 9 months pregnant in August, knocking on the door. They didn't answer. Knocking on the door.
Oh, no.
That is called porched. All right. I was pregnant with Mary Beth. So Mary Beth was born in 2010. So that means that I have been in Mary Kay for 10 years, and I was still getting porched. The nature of the beast doesn't change in this business, okay? The issues that you go through, I still go through. Cancellations, people will hurt you, but the numbers never will, okay? You just got to work the numbers. And I've said this before, I'm going to say it again because we have new people on. I remember, was it last year, Marianne? Marianne called me and said, I don't get the results that you get from my referrals. I said, well, really? I said, well, let me give you my numbers. And I would take a sheet of my referrals from those referral games we play. And I said, well, I book 1 out of 20, 1 out of 21. How many do you book? And she counted. She goes, oh, I'm booking 1 out of 20. I said, okay, you're getting the same numbers. But she thought, from my excitement and the success I was having, that I was doing even greater numbers. But it's just, you've got to know your number. When you know your numbers, you will not be disappointed, okay? You have to know your numbers. I know how many bookings I can get when I grab my list of referrals. So if I get a list of, if I've got 4 referral sheets and there's 20 names on each, I am probably going to be able to book 3 or 4. That's 80 names. And so I'm excited about that. When I would do a vendor event with a lead generating event, whether it was a craft fair or a bridal fair or a consignment sale, whatever I was asked, I've done them all. Honestly, if I got one great name, I know the power of one great name. Mary Ann is that one great name. I gave all my names away at the baby expo that she was at, because she was the gem that I was looking for. I had spent years trying to get into Warner Robins because it was a military base, years and years. And here I was in Atlanta at the Fox Theater. Walking across the stage was a pregnant model. School teacher, check. I know what I can do with school teachers. Pregnant, she's a mom, check. She's from Warner Robins. Oh my goodness, are you kidding me? She hit all of my boxes. She was so sharp that I was so intimidated to go track her down because I couldn't get her over to my table. I sent one of my consultants, who's a chatty Cathy, she'll talk to anybody, sent her over there with her clipboard. Marianne filled it out. And I said, we're going to let her be our winner. I cheated. I let Marianne win because I wanted her to come over to my table so I could talk to her. But she sent her husband, Chris. I'm like, dang it. So she got the hourly prize. And then I called her for the grand prize later. And then she canceled with me, 3 times? She canceled with me 3 times. But here we are, Marianne, an area built in Warner Robins, and now a whole area built in Ohio. The power of one, Okay. So when you go do an event and you get names, and we've got some events coming up because COVID is almost over, you just go in there with an open mind and a great attitude, and you know that God is going to provide. Consistency. So fighting for that one appointment each week, even if it's just one-on-one or, on the go or a party, fighting for that. Okay. Build to 100 customers as fast as you can. Magic happens with 100 really great customers. You start seeing some really amazing reorders come in. But I want to warn you, when that happens, don't get hooked on that easy money. Reorders are your pocket change, because what can come from 100 really great customers is a free car, becoming a sales director. That's your $1 million. Okay. That's what I did with 100 customers, was I built it into my empire. I could have settled for that reorders. Pretty sweet, but I keep going. Okay. So you have all these avenues. You have your reorders, you got that consistent money coming in. You've got your new faces where you're holding at least one appointment every week. And then you're building this team that happens organically because people see you loving life, loving what you do, just being a ray of sunshine, because you are working for yourself and not for someone else. No one will ever pay you what you can pay yourself. Okay. This business is priceless, with the freedom, the flexibility, and the ability to build your paycheck as big as you want. All right. So build to 100 customers. Emotionally stable. Why do I keep saying that? Because when you are standing on a front porch in the middle of August, 9 months pregnant, where you've drug all your product bags up the stairs, and you're an hour away from home, and somebody has porched you, you just want to just set their house on fire. Really, you do. And now you got to drag your bag, and you also want to call them and just tell them what for. Like, wrinkles to you. Wrinkles to you. I would say that in my head. Sometimes I whisper it a little low, wrinkles to you. But seriously, that got me through. Wrinkles to you. Those 3 words got me through a lot of disappointment, where people disappointed me. And you know what? What do I always say? If you've ever sat down with me, I tell you, when you allow someone to create your world, they always create it smaller. And I was not going to let someone who was an hour south of me, who didn't have the decency to call me and say, hey, we had a family emergency, or I had to go into work, or this, I'm so sorry, did not have the decency. She doesn't have that kind of power over me. So I got in the car, went down the road, probably stopped and got a milkshake because I was pregnant, and went on about my day. And I just let it roll off my back, and I say next. No means next. Something else that I always say is rejection is God's protection. Rejection is God's protection, because I tell myself there was a reason God didn't want me entering that home. You never know what it is. You just have to know that if God placed you in this business, it's for a reason, and He will protect you. If God brings you to it, He'll bring you through it. Okay? If God brings you to it, He'll bring you through it. And so whenever someone disappoints you, cancels, you just have to know there was a reason that meeting was not supposed to take place. So getting emotionally stable, I read a lot of books. If you've ever come to my studio, our library is on one whole side of the wall, and I have like 2 whole sections of my books that I have read to get me mentally focused, to be able to lead you, to be able to lead the people that God brings into my life, to be able to emotionally handle the people that disappoint me. When I'm a woman of excellence, I'm very loyal, and I expect loyalty, and it just blows my mind. And so I've had to learn and to stay motivated when I do get down. There were times when I was pregnant with Mary Beth. Guys, this was 10 years into my business. I had 17 cancellations in a row. 17 in a row. And it wasn't until, if you've ever listened to my coaching, was it Coaching the Class? It was my Coaching the Class. It was an aha moment. Actually, it wasn't an aha moment. It was Andy listening to me confirming an appointment. And he goes, hey, you're giving them an out with your words. And I'm like, oh, you're so right. And so with that, hang on just a second. Let me let Debbie in. And so with that, I changed my words. And then that December, I think I held 21 appointments in the month of December. Nobody was canceling. And so if you're not getting bookings or you can't get the appointments to hold, you watch the Coaching the Class video. And I promise you, if you change your words, you'll change your world. Things are easy to be, there's a lot of, you can fix things, you know. If you keep doing the same thing and it's not working, that's like riding a dead horse. What do we say about that? If the horse is dead, you get off, okay? And you get on a different pony. And so you have to try different things. Changing your words will help, okay? Quitting was never an option. Quitting was never an option. I was too stubborn to quit because I knew there were a lot of people who snickered at me, rolled their eyes, and they were waiting for me to fail. And I know that 20 years later, they are still waiting. I am, of course, laughing all the way to the bank. So when you guys got that text, you got that text through my text service about tonight's Zoom, it gave me joy because one of my negative Nellies is one of my personal use. And I got to put a little dig in there, 20 years of never ever not paying myself and having my best year ever during COVID. Dig. So I put little digs in there on purpose because now that I have this text service, I know that normally people who are not on my Voxer still get that message. And so, you know, use those negative Nellies and those naysayers. Let them be the fire, the embers that keep burning. And, you know, I owe it all to them. I owe it all to them because it still burns inside me. That still is what keeps me going. So, you know, take quitting off the table. That's like with a marriage. When Andy and I got married, we knew before we said our wedding vows, we said that the word divorce would never be entered or spoken in our home. It was never on the table. And if you go and you run with that and you fight, because you're going to fight, you don't ever lay that on the table. So there's never any insecurities with one or the other. Same thing with this business. You never lay the option to quit on this table, no matter how hard it gets. And I'm just going to tell you, Satan will come at you with everything he has because he's always out to steal, kill, and destroy. But if you were put in this business and you felt a calling, there is a gift waiting for you at the finish line. But along the way, there's some sweet things that happen and things that you didn't even expect. You have to trust that God has a plan and has a path, and he's going to take care of you better than you could ever take care of yourself. You know, I could turn this into a whole ministry session or a sermon because, you know, it just being able to get up every morning. You know, tomorrow my son's got tennis, 9 to 11. I take him to tennis. Tuesday, Mary Beth's little tennis team, we get together every Tuesday morning and we do tennis. I have a party tomorrow night, so I can work Monday night. I've got a party Wednesday night, but I'm playing tennis on Tuesday all day with the kids, swimming and ordering pizza. And then Thursday, I'll have to look at my calendar, see what's happening Thursday. I get to create my whole entire summer schedule. Flexibility. No one's controlling my life. All right, a tracked number will grow. You have to track your numbers, okay? You have to track how many people you're calling, how many attempts that you're making. You have to know, once again, knowing your numbers. And that is in every avenue of this business, knowing how many calls you have to make to get one booking. Customer service calls. How many customer service calls do you have to make to get a reorder every week? You know, how many parties do you have to put on your date book for you to hold for that month? Do you have a half of them cancel? You've got to know your numbers. When you know your numbers, you will not be disappointed ever, 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 ever. So that brings me to knowing your numbers, okay? So this is going to be, we start this every year right after the new year starts, and it's an amazing program. I'm going to start it again, but I'm going to tell you about it in just a second. But this business, you only have to do 4 things, okay? And I'm going to add a 5th thing this year. This business is easy. You book appointments, coach the class, you sell the product, and you share the opportunity. We call it book, coach, sell, recruit. Book, coach, sell, recruit. Book, coach, sell, recruit. Recruit happens now organically because people are very more open to a side hustle than ever before, okay? They know that a side hustle, they can do that on the side, make some quick cash. The side hustle grows, replaces the income. You get it, okay? People, that's why recruiting is more organic than it ever was. There was a time in our season where we had to, you have to ask, just like you would ask for bookings, you'd ask for would you listen to the opportunity? You had to listen. But now people ask you at the appointments. And so that's what I mean by it happens organically, okay? So every year at this time, at the last 2 years, we start a program, and it's called BYOP, Build Your Own Paycheck. And what I teach you, it's an accountability group. For one, you are accountable to me every single week, okay? It's kind of like I'm going to be your boss for the next 6 months, because you're going to do exactly what I did for my first 6 months that my husband laid out for me, and I was able to leave a $50,000 a year salary 6 months later. It's not magical. It's all mathematical. If you'll just consistently do these things, book, coach, sell, recruit, okay? And so if you want to join this special group, I create a special Voxer group, and I give you a list of things that you do each week. One is book 1 appointment, hold an appointment, sell a product, okay? And there's something else on the list. We start off very small, and as long as you check off those boxes, you call me each week or you text me and say, I've done this, 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 and this. It's kind of like having a boss, okay? What that does is that gets you used to doing these things. It's creating a good habit. Remember those habits, easy to do, but they're also easy not to do. And that's the difference between a fine line between success and failure. So for the next 6 months, if you join this BYOP group, I will be your boss, okay? You're going to text me. You have until Sunday, the next Sunday, to say, I held an appointment. I did a hand facial. I'll let you count that. Because I know sometimes you're just like, God, please, somebody give me your face. I literally one day went to my husband. I'm like, would you please let me facial you? It's Saturday night at 9 o'clock. I haven't done my appointment. He's like, no, go and book an appointment. So I'm going to let you do a hand facial on someone, okay? And you compare. So I'm very, especially if you're brand new, I'm very lenient, because I know. I'll also give you 1 bye week, and then you get another emergency week if something happens, because I get it. I just had an emergency. I had to go to Michigan. You guys know. And so if you have that, you get a bye week. Now, I let you double up. So if you don't want to use your bye week, let's say you don't get a booking and you're like, oh, I didn't get a booking, but next week I got 2 bookings. I'll let you double up the next week. And so that way, for that whole month, you end up with 4 appointments, you end up with reorders, and you end up with more bookings. Does that make sense? In 6 months, if you'll do what I say to do, you will be on target for your car. You'll be able, if you want to quit your full-time job, you'll be able to quit your full-time job. It's a proven plan. It is a proven plan, okay? Now, if you don't want to quit your job, that's okay. But you're going to build a solid business that's going to give you that extra money you want, that you could do whatever you want with, but you got to have a goal too. And so that's what we're going to do. So I will text everybody tonight, or Vox, and I'm going to separate you guys, and you'll be in a new Voxer group. You'll still be in the other Voxer groups, but you'll be in a new Voxer group, and we will start. We'll start this week, give it a trial run, and then we'll get it going next Sunday. Okay, and it's all about consistency. I told you I wasn't the best seller. I wasn't the best at recruiting. I was consistent. I was a good student. I studied this business, and I didn't quit. That's all I had going for me. That is all I had going for me. You know those roll-up bags that we all sell like hotcakes? This is how bad I was at selling. It took me 1.5 years to sell my first one. And I was in DIQ. If you're new, what is DIQ? It's not Dairy Queen. Director in Qualifications. I was in qualifications to be a sales director, and I could not sell anything. So to say I've come a long way, I have come a long way. But it was this formula, and this was set up by my husband. Just hold an appointment. That's all he would say, 1 appointment a week. From January 8th to June 1st, and I was home, and I was able to walk away. And from then on, I never looked back, and I've never, ever not paid myself. So I can tell you, here's my, how are we doing on time? Okay, I'm going to tell you my pay raises, okay? Now, even though I made $50,000 a year, after taxes, after daycare, and after pushing my husband into a higher tax bracket, really only made a minivan payment. That's why it was really easy for me to leave such a large salary, because after all that, I wasn't bringing home anything. Some of you may not have the daycare expense that I had. Now, so where was I going with this? Oh my goodness, my headache. Hang on, I was going someplace really good with this.
You were going with your pay raises over time, Michelle.
Yes, okay. So quit, started making my $500 minivan payment from January of 2001 until, no, June of 2001 to June of 2002. I became a sales director July 1 of 2002. My husband said, okay, you're going to start paying the family $1,500. For a year, I paid the family $1,500 a month. Okay, I was a new sales director. Then Ryan went into private school, and I had to start paying the family $3,000 a month. And then, Ryan went in, so I had to pay $1,500 for that year. Ryan was in private school. Riley went in right behind him the next year. I had to jack that up to $3,000, and that was in the year of Riley was 2004. Hudson was born in 2006. Andy had this huge pay cut, and I had to start giving the family $5,000 a month. And since 2006, I have not paid myself less than $5,000 a month. Bring home $5,000 a month. So that was my progression from just in those first 13 years. You guys know I had a baby on my hip or baby in my tummy for 13 years. I usually didn't work more than 2 or 3 nights a week, okay? Give or take if I was busy, like, you know how we double up, but I worked less than 15 to 20 hours for 13 years, okay? And I earned 6 cars. In those 6 years, let's see, I had hold on, let me count it, 13. I had Grand Prix, Saturn Vue, Cadillac. Yeah, so there's another car in there somewhere, 2 Saturn Vues. No, yeah. So 2 Cadillacs, 2 Saturn Vues, 2 Grand Prix. In 13 years, working 15 to 20 hours a week, 2 to 3 appointments, give or take. That was my progress. That's how I evolved. Just like I said in the beginning of this training, I did not choke on my elephant. I ate it 1 bite at a time. All right. So, Marianne, do you want to add anything? Because you did the same thing.
Just to reiterate that it does work. And the other things I would say to add to what she's saying, you know, because I had that in me, is quitting was not an option. There was a season where Chris lost all his jobs and I wasn't doing a whole lot and we were broke. I mean, like I had to like lie and cancel an appointment because I didn't have gas to be able to get there, to like blame it on my kid being sick, like that broke. But there was still this determination in me of, I can't quit. I've got to figure this out. And, pray, through prayer and God providing, we dug out of the hole eventually, but quitting was never an option, because it does provide for my family. I'm passionate about it, and it provides so much, and I'm so grateful for it. And besides like showing up, being consistent, being a good student, my biggest thing is plugging in. And I basically got to the point where I rearranged my Sunday nights so I could be here every week. So I was telling someone, for 8 years I've been here at 9:00 on a Sunday night. For 8 years I've listened to Voxer messages on a daily basis, and all of that, it's feeding and growing you. What you put in comes out, and so I want what she has. So whatever she has, I put in, and that's coming out, so I'm very much protect my mind and what I listen to. I don't listen to music a whole lot on the radio because I'm usually listening to a podcast or, one of the $1 Million Messages, or like Darren Hardy, something that has to do with, just your mindset, how you think about things, emotional health, business stuff. And so another great thing is just to show up. And when you don't want to check in, when you're like, oh, I'm so scared, I'm ashamed, I didn't do something, I was missing, the next best thing is take a deep breath and show up and say, hey, Michelle, I was gone there for a minute. That is the best thing that you can do.
Awesome. Yes. All right. So guys, I want to give you guys some of the chats that's going on. Tammy says, yes, BYOP is back and it does work. So see there. All right. Tammy was one of the successful BYOP. I think went from the very beginning that we did it. So I will, once again, BYOP means build your own paycheck. So what I do, and then I'm almost done, and remember, this is recorded, so if you came in late, check our YouTube channel. It will be posted there tomorrow. I'm going to teach you. So when you build your own paycheck, you're going to be able to look, say in 6 months and say, okay, honey, this is what I'm averaging in reorders every week. This is what I average with my new business, my new faces each week. This is what I average at a party each week. This is the number of parties I'm holding every month. This is the number of facials that I do every month. This is my average. And you can say, can I quit my job now? And if he says, well, can you double that? Then you go back to the drawing board and okay, I got to do 6 more faces. I got to add 2 extra parties. Does that make sense? When you know your number, you know what you do that you need to do to increase it. Just like you guys have watched me, every June I have to have a $10,000 paycheck. I do. And once again, I hit the $10,000 mark, okay? Because I know how to build a $10,000 paycheck in June so that I can go on multiple vacations in July, and it's July, and you never know if anybody's working in July. I hate to say that, but that's me taking care of my family and my kids' books. They're, going back to school and all that stuff. Lots of reasons why I need a $10,000 paycheck every June, but it's this same formula that helps me build that $10,000 paycheck every single June. And so I'm so excited. I really hope that you all join in. You tell me that you're excited, that you want to join, and I will lay out everything that you have to do, but get ready, okay? Get ready. And just know you are not going to get rich off family and friends. You're going to have to make your hot list. Your hot list is everybody that you know with skin. If you've got them on, if you got people on there, good. Start with that. If not, like me, I didn't. You got to get facial boxes out. You got to look for some vendor leads, craft fairs, chili cook-off, fall festivals, Christmas bazaars. Things are opening up. Be ready. Look for it. Google it. And call those people and say, are you allowing vendors? Are you allowing vendors? Call me. I have a whole formula on how to do a vendor table, and I'll help you. I'll even maybe get some workers to help you so you don't do it by yourself. I also have a YouTube training on that on our YouTube channel. You have to go find it, but it's on there. And I'm very specific with knowing if the price is right. I have a formula because I don't like to lose money. I need to make sure that I'm going to get enough names to, to be worth the money that I paid. And I will teach you that formula. And so build this. You don't have to stay in your hometown. Look at all the little towns around you. You have no territories. Run with that. Mary Kay created that for us specifically because she kept hitting that brick wall where she was boxed in, and would build an area, and then they would transfer and make her go build another area and not give her the residual from that area that she built. They would give it to someone else to work. Mary Kay on purposely said, you have no territories. And so the sky's the limit. That excited me when I was looking for, craft fairs, bridal fairs, baby expos, children consignment stores or sales. That all made me excited because I could go anywhere. How far are you willing to drive? If you're willing to drive an hour, then you look at a map and you drive an hour north, south, east, and west, make that radius circle and look at all those little towns. Look at all those little towns, okay? Because that can be your territory. My radius was 3 hours. So you can imagine, I would go anywhere for a party. And you can imagine, I've flown to Seattle before for a party. I've flown to California for 3 parties for a weekend. I'll go anywhere. And, because I literally took building in 10 geographic areas seriously. And, that's all you do. It's simple. It may not always be easy, but it's simple. When you get rejection, you just say next, and just know rejection is God's protection. Okay. All right. So guys, this is recorded. I didn't mean to go over. I got on my soapbox. So sorry. And we've got a few more chats. Marianne said, plan the trips, do the remodels, plan the events with grandkids, family, go on missions. Marianne, is this is your goals? Is this your goals?
Just helping for people who maybe don't want to, eventually, yes, huge bucket list. For people who maybe aren't looking to replace their income, they love their career, they feel called to it. Just some ideas of what to do with extra income, because sometimes we forget that we can do more.
Yes. All right, guys, thank you for being on. We had a big group tonight. I really appreciate you, and can't wait to hear who's joining the BYOP group. I'm excited. Good night, everybody.
Okay, Alicia.
I haven't heard from her.
Yeah, where's Alicia? She's.
I text her too. I text her and her mom, and nobody calls. So,
well, she'll find out sooner or later. I'll have to.
I know.
That's Sunday night church.
Yeah,
that might be it.
Yeah, that's probably it. Yeah, they must go late.
Oh. Bye, y'all.
Right. Good night. See y'all next week. I'll talk to you this week. Join the group.